Okay, so this is our last video before our mid-chapter 7 test. This is the division property of exponents again, but this is a little different because what we're going to do is, this is like different bases. So before we would have the same base and we would just subtract exponents, but now we're going to have different bases, like we might have 3 squared over 4 squared or something. So I'll show you how to handle that. And it's called raising a quotient to a power, 3 over 4, and they're both squared. So here's your example. In words, what it means is if you raise a quotient to a power, they both get the exponent. Just like if you power of a power, they all get the exponent. So 3 to the 5th, 3/5 to the 3rd power, that's going to be 3 to the 3rd over 5 to the 3rd. So you just work out the exponent. And if you have a variable, you do the same thing. Okay? So your example. Now, they give you a pretty involved example to start with. So we're going to do z to the 2/3 over 5 all to the 3rd. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to distribute pretty much the exponent to every part of the fraction. And that's going to end up being z to the 2/3 to the 3rd over 5 to the 3rd. Okay, so now I have to remember my my power of a power rule. The 3's are going to cancel because I multiply the exponents, 2/3 times 3. The 3's will cancel, and I'll get z squared. And then on the bottom, 5 to the 3rd, that's going to be 125. So z squared over 125. Your answer is D. Now, if you're struggling with this rule here that got me from this big thing to z squared, go back and look at, I think it's 7.3. Look at those videos again to kind of refresh your memory. Alright, so let's do a got it question. I want you to tell me the simplified form of 4 over x to the 3rd, all squared. Then I'm going to add one. I want you to do w to the 5th over 4 all to the 3rd. So there's 2 got it questions. I want you to get a separate sheet of paper, do your 2 questions, go back and look if you have to, pause the video, finish your questions, and catch up with me on the next example. Okay, example 4, simplifying an exponential. I need you to take this a step at a time because it can get kind of crazy. There's 2 ways we can do this. I'm going to call it method 1. And then we'll call the other one method 2. Now, you could go ahead and handle this negative exponent from the get-go. And that's what I'm going to do because I don't like it negative exponents. So a negative exponent on a fraction flips the fraction. So that's actually going to be y to the 4th over 2x to the 6th to the 3rd. Now I'm going to, let's do it over here. I'm going to distribute that exponent to every part of the fraction. So everything gets to the 3rd power. And up top I end up with y to the 12th. And on bottom I get 2 to the 3rd, x to the 6th to the 3rd, which is x to the 18th. So I have y to the 12th over 2 to the 3rd is 8, x to the 18th. Alright, now method 2. Actually, let's just erase it all so you don't get confused. Method 2. So let's just pretend like we're starting all the way over. Okay. So method 2, what if we don't notice that that's a negative exponent first? So what we would do is we would go ahead and try to distribute the exponent to everything. So it's going to be 2x to the 6th to the negative third over y to the fourth to the negative third power. So 2 to the negative third, and then x to the 6th to the negative third is x to the 18th, but it's negative. Then on the bottom I get y to the negative 12th. All these negative exponents are all in the wrong spot, so you gotta put them all in the other part of the fraction. So 2 to the negative third is going to come in the bottom and be 8. X to the negative 18 is going to come into the bottom and be x to the 18th. Y to the negative 12 is going to scoot up to the top and be y to the 12th. And it's the same thing. I personally don't like this method. It's confusing to me, so I just try to go ahead and deal with the negative exponent from the beginning. Alright, your got it question. I want you to simplify this. There's a negative exponent, so you can choose which method you want. If you need to look at them again, by all means, rewind it. And then I'm going to add 1. I also want you to do 3c to the third over d squared all to the negative fourth. And see, there's the negative exponent again, so I want you to handle that whichever method you want to use. Pause it, do your 2 got it questions, and catch up with me on the next slide. Okay, that's the end of the video. If you have any questions or comments, remember this is your last chance before your mid-chapter 7 test, so make sure you ask me. With the email address listed, you can remind 101 me at the number listed, or you can go to our Facebook page. Don't forget to participate in the class discussion for your bonus points. And make sure you bring me your got it questions bright and early in the, well, at the beginning of class anyway. And I will see you tomorrow.